does not have any special knowledge about the ET bodies and debris from the Roswell crash stored at Wright Pat, though at this point, with absolutely no sign of him, maybe the best hypothesis is that aliens beamed him up to the mothership. However, no sightings of a mothership hovering above the Sandia Mountains have been reported. Now, authorities say that they have received dozens of tips so far, no confirmed sightings as the search continues. So I want to tackle this in a different way. I want to bring in astrophysicist Avi Loeb. He's the Frank B. Bard Jr. Professor of Science at Harvard University, and also former FBI agent and UFO investigator Ben Hansen. He's the host of Discovery Plus's UFO Witness. Thank you both so much for taking the time. Avi, I'm going to start with you. You know, McCasland once led this Air Force research laboratory. It handles all of this weapons technology. I talked about the UFO connection. What kind of projects would a person in that role have likely been exposed to? Are we talking UFO secrets? I guess the question I'm asking, in other words, is what information could he potentially have that would be so valuable for someone to potentially take him?
I don't think it's very likely that someone took him for that reason. In that capacity, he probably was responsible for developing the latest technological advances used for weaponry within the Air Force. However, you know, it's hard to believe that material retrieved from many decades ago would be a reason for taking him out now that President Trump actually directed the declassification of information that is not important for national security. In the worst case scenario, I can imagine someone threatening him, but not really doing much about it. And also, you know, any technology used for decades ago is not relevant right now. So I would actually dismiss. I completely agree with his wife. I don't think it has anything to do with UFOs. The only thing I can imagine is, you know, that for some other reason, you know, that may be completely mundane. Someone did something to him, which unfortunately, you know, led to these consequences, but had nothing to do with UFOs as far as I can imagine.
Well, Ben, here's the thing. You know, if he disappeared on his own, it would be so unusual that his body wasn't found. He wasn't found. Yes, I know he has outdoor experience, but let's say he was. I mean, what do you believe? Do you think that there's a possibility that this was an abduction, maybe not by a foreign actor, but some sort of personal issue? Or do you believe that what we're seeing right now, leaving his phone there, he goes missing right after the administration announces that they're going to release information regarding extraterrestrials and UAPs and UFOs? Do you think that there's something going on here?
Well, I think it is kind of a leap in speculation to go, you know, down the route of it maybe being connected to UFOs, but more likely, I think we have to have an open mind that something that was related to his work. The question comes up as to why you have so many agencies that are out there looking for him, and my response to that is, you know, when I was in the agency, we had to take a special form anytime we wanted to travel for the weekend and tell what route we're taking, where we're staying. Because when you have a top secret clearance like that actively working on things, you're playing offense and defense. Now, he's been retired for a while, but those things that he came across in the programs he was running could be valuable still, I believe, to people. Either him, heaven forbid, you know, meeting up and sharing things he shouldn't, but then also him being a target. But I agree. I don't know that we have anything connecting it to UFOs at this moment, but it is very interesting.
Well, Avi, you seem to suggest, and correct me if I'm wrong, that whatever information you have might be outdated, similar to what his wife is saying. But I don't know. He might not know things that could still be. I had Ross Coulthard on the other day. A grave national security risk.
National security is a different matter, yes. I do think that there are secrets that obviously will not be released because we have technologies that other nations don't. And just see the superiority of our forces right now with Iran. I mean, there must be a lot of technological advances that most people are not aware of. But from that to the subject of UFOs, that's a stretch. And in that context, I do believe that now the political sentiment is shifting thanks to President Trump, and therefore we should focus on what will be released, how much of it, and what value it carries. But not, I don't think there is any conspiracy behind the scenes going against President Trump in a way that is so aggressive as to abduct a person.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.